You are now listening to the Ja and Fa Show. Ja and Fa Show. Now listening. You are now listening to the Ja and Fa Show.
Episode 33. We skipped an episode. I'm not changing it.
Wait, what happened? So this is actually 32?
Yeah. Well, no, it's episode 33. I told you.
Right.
Yeah.
Jeez, I didn't even know, actually. You could tell me whatever episode you want to tell me, and I'd probably believe you.
Episode 90.
Dude, I cannot believe we've been 30 weeks, over 30 weeks of the Ja and Fa pod.
We've been consistent. I like it.
We've been so consistent. It's been great ever since 420. That was our start date.
It was.
I forget it. That was the date we recorded it, though, I think.
I think
or was
so.
that the day it was released? I think it was we recorded it. I honestly think it got released. I think the very first one was released on Earth Day. I'm not a
stars were aligning. You check up on that. I'm gonna ramble. What do I have in my hand but a home rapid COVID test that I'm going to do. This is gonna be riveting for everyone, I would say. This is gonna be the most exciting thing I think we've ever done.
This is going to be great. I'm very excited, and I do apologize for everyone out there. I was way off. It was actually the 5th of April.
You're off. I think we recorded it in March, our first one.
Yeah, April 5th was the very first one, and then we probably took a few extra days to polish her up and stuff. You know,
we did, and it didn't polish at all because your mic audio sucked in that episode.
Oh my gosh, it was horrible. I can't even listen to those episodes. I would not recommend listening to the first couple, but I mean, you know, if you want some, I would only listen to them for the history of the John Fa, you know what I'm saying? Just if you want to hear where we came from. I think that'd be a nice time. I do want the record to show. Do want the record to show while Tabor is getting his COVID test ready. I got a hot cup of Joe with me right now. It's 5:28 in the afternoon. Not another non-morning pod. There he goes. He's sticking the Q-tip up his nose. Doesn't look enjoyable at all by Tabor. He's really getting in there, though. This is a live COVID test we have. What other podcast does this? I mean, maybe a few. I don't know. It's a big Q-tip, man.
Ooh,
that was huge. Rough. That was awful. That did not look fun. Q-tips down the nose are not fun. But I don't know if you explained this yet, Tabor, but the whole reason why Ja is taking this COVID test, he's been feeling a little down the dumps. Not down in the dumps. What's a good analogy for being sick? Well, under the weather. That's what I was looking for.
Down in the dumps. Yeah, I have a knife beside my bed, too, for being down in the dumps.
Down in the dumps.
I've taken the test. I got to set my timer for 15 minutes. You're supposed to only look at the results within a 15-minute window. Timer is set. I don't think I have it for frame of reference, but you know, it's better to be safe than sorry. I do work in a very high contact area. I'm a bartender / server, so I'm constantly touching people's drinks, and even if I wash my hands enough, it's probably not enough. You know, like.
No, I agree. I think you definitely took the right approach of just checking, man. I mean, like you said, you can never be too safe, and you're out in the public a lot, man. You're out in a place where a lot of people come through and eating and drinking.
I think they call it high exposure. I have a high exposure percentage because I work in a bar, and I'm also in the city all the time, obviously.
Right.
So you know that's a fun bit of content for you guys. I know everyone is dying to know 15 minutes from now what the results are. Let's continue on. Let's roll on with this podcast. I actually do feel like well enough right now. I mean, not that I didn't feel well enough earlier, but I feel good. I'm getting rolling into this.
Good. I'm so happy you're getting rolling into it. And before we stray too off of the beaten path, since we were just talking about, you know, your working environment, if you listen to the last pod, Ja really brought up a very heroic story involving his domination at a birthday party thrown at his job. He did win first. I did actually have him send me the picture today, which did not get used in anything.
I was gonna funny. I was wondering when it was gonna get used, and
I was gonna add it. I was gonna add into the TikTok, and then I forgot. I could still add it honestly, but it's just a great picture of Tabor pointing at the leaderboard, and he was first. He won the whole chip. But Tabor did inform me there's a ping pong update from the past week.
You know, I'm not like one of those TV analysts that just spews bullshit all day, and then their wins they post, and then they're like, "Look how right I was." I got sunned. I lost 3-0 in a series I played yesterday. One of our pro players was training a woman, and he's obviously very good. He's a pro player. She's pretty good, but she was obviously getting lessons. So I played her because we're around the same-ish skill level, but she beat me 3 games in a row. Did not feel good.
Jeez.
But it did it inspires motivation to push on and analyze your game a little bit and see what you did wrong and try to adapt and improve from there.
Dude, that was beautiful. I feel like I was just giving you an interview post game. Now you were saying, last pod how, you can't even imagine, or you're saying it must be tough for athletes, when the interviewer's like, tell me what happened in the third quarter, but it's like right after the game and their mind's fried. Now that you've had a few days to reflect, what do you think you can work on and make yourself better so that doesn't happen in the future?
Well, I jammed myself up a lot in that I was too close to the table. My previous issue was that I would play too far from the table. So it was like a natural thing of like, I just pushed a little too far up, and that's what I've been doing recently. And I was like essentially hanging over the table when I need to be a little bit further back. And that probably cost me some points in itself. But again, I said to you before the podcast started, it's focus, for a sport that's as mental as ping pong. A lot of people don't realize if you're playing competitively, it is an individual sport. That's obvious. It's like tennis. Yeah. It's like golf. Every minute movement you do is on you, and every point is on you. So if you hit one into the net and you do it twice a game, you're giving away 2 points a game. You're just shaving. It's tough, and then that weighs on your mental. So it's like it's a whole secular thing. It's nice though. It's a game that it expands and tests your mental dexterity in a way, because you need, there's moments where you need to like slow down, calm down your breathing, take a moment to think, like just get yourself a point and just roll from there. Like it's a very mental game.
Would you be an advocate for ping pong? Like if someone was like, I don't really like ping pong, like would you go out of your way and be like, I disagree, I think it's a great game?
I guess with most things I'm a pass, like I don't really care enough to argue about most things. I guess I do argue about some things, but if you're not gonna like something that like is like a hobby or a sport like that, I'm like, you do your thing. But if you're like, I don't know, if you already like individual sports, I can't see why you wouldn't like ping pong.
Yeah, I think it's fun. I just don't play enough. I would love to get a little better because my ping pong skills are a little cheap. Cheap. The last thing I did want to bring up though was I feel like this went totally just by right over my head. I'm very bad with these sayings today, but it went right over my head. You got the new iPhone 13.
Do I have I don't know if I do have. Is this the iPhone 13? I'm not sure.
Have you gotten it in the last month?
No, it's not the iPhone. Okay. It's the 12. Yeah, no. I didn't think it was. The guy kept saying that. I was like, that's what he kept saying.
Right. Gotcha. No, I was happy for the clarification because I was going to say you must have been up to your 3 years. You're every 3 years you get a new phone.
I have a 12. It's I thoroughly enjoy it. It's lasted me well thus far.
And now I could be up for a new phone. I have not gotten one yet, but I have the XR. So
you should be due for one.
From the Tabor rules.
Yes.
The Tabor rules of every 3. I love
it. Dude, I feel like we need to discuss a movie or something. Have you watched any good movies recently or?
I haven't, but it's one thing that I really have been noticing on a lot of commercials and stuff. Like, I don't know how many like animated type of movies you watch, and I don't even really watch that many, but you always see commercials for them and stuff. Like, isn't it kind of weird and like kind of sad in a way, like how all animation looks exactly the same, like in every single movie? Like, for example, like I just watched Nightmare Before Christmas before Halloween, and like the claymation, it was so different, it looks so unique. And like I feel like shows back in the day, like some of them would be like drawn and like, you know, they look different, where every single one now is that 3D, like that real like just bright comic like look. And it's fine, like I'm not saying I don't like it or anything, but it's just kind of sad. Like I just feel like every single movie, like they just run into each other. Like you can get this movie confused with this movie because they look exactly the same.
Yeah, it's I think it's like a sign of the times, I guess. Like it's you see one movie has a hit, and it's like every movie tries to essentially capture the feel of that movie without it being that movie.
Right. And, you know, I actually just recently watched a video. I know you're not the biggest horror type of guy, but, you know, think about it. Like, you know, all the big horror characters, all like the big ones that we know today came like years ago. Like, you think of like Freddy
Yeah.
Krueger, Jason, Alien, the Predator, you know, all those guys. Where it's funny, Michael Myers, another one, or Scream. Okay, you could keep going, but there's a ton of them, right? But it's funny now with new movies, these new horror movies, every single monster in all the movies look kind of similar. And I watched a whole video about how they're made, and they all look similar because every single movie, every single horror movie that's made is usually made with the same program. And these people kind of always want to mimic what kind of has worked in the past instead of trying something new and making like an iconic character. Like everyone just looks the same. Like you think of like A Quiet Place. I don't know if you ever saw that movie, but it's
No,
like these like
I know the gist of it though.
yeah, like the monsters, like they're so like they could look like any monster from any movie. Like they're just this big brown thing with no eyes and teeth. It's like, okay, like yeah, that's spooky, but like we've seen this 100 times. Like give us something else. Like it's just so interesting how like there's no iconic horror movie characters for the exact reason of everyone just uses the same stuff. And you know, it worked in this movie released in 2016, so they're still doing the same exact horror movie over and over and over again. And you know what? It's just kind of sad. That's why I do like the weird ones. Like Hereditary comes to mind, which was just so off the wall, so differently horror and differently like terror filled that like that's why that one like sticks in my head as like a horror movie where I'm like, wow, that was different and that was really cool.
I think it's really interesting you brought up how they completely go back to the well so often for horror. Like, because they've made a trillion Michael Myers movies, and that's not. I'm not saying it's for better or for worse. They could all be. Everyone could be great, or everyone could be a shitter. But like, it's not like there's new characters that young, not even young horror fans, but horror fans that are attaching onto these days versus the old classics.
Right.
Like you said, Scream,
Yeah.
Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, whatever, fucking
Chucky, another
yeah,
one.
exactly. Like you just, it's crazy. And then like even back again to what you said, it's like you have movies that are like Final Destination, Saw, Purge. They
Saw,
just
yep.
go back to the well every time. It's the same. It's like the same fucking shit. Like
I know it is, and like seriously, like that time you were just talking, I'm really trying to think like, has there been a really iconic horror character in the past 10 years?
no,
Like
and
any
not
that
that I'm
you
a
can
big
think?
horror person, but like
No.
no, like it's not. And you know, I guess can't you really can't be like there's a classic horror. I guess you could, but like there's a classic horror icon from 2016. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like it
Yeah.
hasn't even aged enough to become that. Like
That's a good point. But like, you know, I'm also thinking like with these icons, normally like a sequel will come out like right away or in a couple years. Like there really hasn't been any movies where there's like been sequels coming out, or like if they are sequels, they're normally trash. And yeah, you know, it's funny that we're having this conversation now, a couple weeks after Halloween. This would have been a great pre-Halloween, but it's all right. It's still the fall season.
It's still the fall season, and it's on movies, which I kind of wanted to talk about. I don't have anything in particular in movies I want to talk about. Just wanted. I feel like we don't talk about movies that often. I feel like.
Yeah, well, you know, I like to think of Tabor. I feel like you're a very sophisticated movie person in the way of like you like, you know, those classics, or you like those real like good movies. Where I like the bullshit, Marvel movies. I like the horror movies. Like I like those like just they're clearly like just trying to get your mind. I mean, they're still good movies. Like I do genuinely enjoy them, but like I feel like you like those real like Oscar winning ones.
See, I do, but I also, it's funny that you say that because I also think that I like the stupidest movies. Like I like dumb comedies. I just like to sit
Dumb and
there and
Dumber.
laugh. I like to laugh as hard. I've bookmarked that. I have a story about Dumb and Dumber. But I just like to sit there and laugh my head off. Like literally, that's all I like to do. Or
Yeah.
exactly like you said, or I need it to be like an extremely quality, well put together film. Everything makes sense. Not that there can't be any holes, but like I want it to be congruent. I need a nice, well fleshed out story.
Yeah.
Like fucking no spoilers here, but the Sopranos movie that just came out, I was so excited to see it, and it stunk. It stunk
Really?
big time. Yeah, it stunk.
And that's what sucks. That's what hurts, especially like when it's a series or a character that you've liked for a long time. You go in with these expectations of like, this is going to be awesome because this is, a TV show or someone I know. Like for me, for example, growing up, I love Spider-Man, and Venom was my favorite character ever. And when the first movie came out a couple years ago, I was obviously so excited because I was like, this is like been my favorite guy. Like when I was younger, I had like masks and like costumes and shit, and I hated it. I actually hated the movie, and it took a lot for me to be like, man, I really didn't like it because I wanted to love it. I wanted to just walk out there and be like, it was sick. And it was funny because since I am such a big Venom guy, it was funny that people who necessarily weren't, or maybe not weren't, but like knew of them, but maybe just wasn't like obsessed with them like I was when I was a kid. A lot of people liked the movie, and I was so shocked about that because I was like, really? Like, it wasn't a horrible movie. It wasn't like it was unwatchable by any means, but it just wasn't like, I don't know. I just felt like it missed the point a lot, like a lot of those movies kind of do. And no, I don't even know where I was going with that. Oh, because you said that you saw The Sopranos and you didn't like it,
Yeah,
which is a TV show you like.
Yeah, I think that might have been the biggest movie where I walked out and I was like, man, that did not do it for me. I was pretty disappointed.
This just came out like in the past year? Or?
This came out a couple months ago.
Oh, this is like new. I haven't even heard it was coming out.
Last month, I think.
And you went out of your way to obviously go watch this.
I went to
movie
the
in theaters.
theaters. Yeah, we went to the theaters. Yeah.
You and your dad?
We all went as a family. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I knew you and your dad watched The Sopranos, so I wasn't sure.
It's a classic. I would recommend to all.
It's actually funny you bring up The Sopranos because when I'm working, I always have YouTube up, and my prime things that I watch on YouTube are like basketball videos. Like I like, all like the crazy shit going on. I like gaming videos. I like top 10 ranks of like random stuff in video games, all that kind of thing. And I also watch these two guys. They're like, I think they're from like the United Kingdom or something, and they just play really shitty PS2 games and like just kind of like make fun of it. It's like they're like 10-minute videos. They're super short, but they're fun to watch. Anyway, they just played The Sopranos for the PS2 recently.
Terrible game.
And it was horrible.
Terrible game.
It was so crazy. Like the one point, like it was a violent game too, which obviously I know The Sopranos are, but it was, what was that? Time.
COVID test results.
COVID test. Put it down. Let's see. Does Ja have COVID?
Negative. No COVID.
No COVID for Ja.
COVID free. No, there's
Good.
no second line. We are
Nice.
negative.
Good. So you're just a little under the weather then. Just got a little,
I think
a
common
little cold or something.
Maybe some. I hope it's not, but it might be strep throat. I don't think it is.
Yeah.
But nice. That is good. That's good news.
That is good news. There we go. So we got to watch, what happens in those 15 minutes. You talk about horror movies and The Sopranos.
Yeah, dude. Not even to go in on it, but that Sopranos game is so funny. It's like if you've ever played video games before, you know how like when you're attacking more than one enemy, like it like makes the other enemies like slow down. This game has none of that feature. It's just you get blitzed by 3 guys at once.
Gee. See, I didn't even see that part, but it was just so funny. Like some of the scenes they were showing, like this, like it was just some drunk guy like in the bathroom at one point, and then the next thing, like like you're slamming his head against a urinal for like no reason, and they're like, why are we doing this right now? It was so funny. But
what's like the most fun shitty video game you've ever played?
oh man, so there's this one game I'm thinking of, actually. It was for the PS1. um Man, I don't know what it's called, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to bring it up. But pretty much, you were this kid, and you had a bubble shooter gun, and you like attacked monsters. Like you went into like this parallel universe in your room, and you like shot monsters with bubbles, and you killed them. And it's so funny. I was telling you how I've watched top 10 videos. I like a lot of those. This game is always in the top 10 worst PS1 games, but I loved it. I mean, maybe I was just young and stupid. I was just like, it's fun. It's colors and monsters, like everything I like. But here, I'm going to try to find the name of it, but that's probably the first one that would come to my mind. How about you?
Please do. I actually really had nothing in mind. It's funny, I put you on the spot, and I didn't even have time to think of one. But I will say this: I have an answer and like two things with it, and then you can go back to if you found the name. The first answer I'd like to give is there's a game for the N64. It's called Glover, and Macaluso absolutely hated the game. And the reason I like it is because Trevor Prinz, for some reason, because Macaluso hated it, specifically loved the game and like turned it on and started playing it, and it was just going nuts over it. So that game comes to mind. But then also I need to circle back real quick. I'm sorry I jumped off the subject before I could sneak this in, but I said bookmark that Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, yeah.
I need your attention for this story.
Okay. No, I do want to hear. Yeah, I can't find it right now. I might just try to look it up on my phone in a minute, but let me hear it.
Yeah, no, dude, do it in a minute. You actually might have heard this story before, but this is one of my favorite stories ever with Macaluso. One of the funniest moments of our friendship, I'd say, hands down. Oftentimes, if you get too funny at Macaluso's, your eyes are just too closed. You're just like, man, I'll sleep on the floor. He had that he had the mattress on the floor that we would all typically just, when we went over, to just like sit on.
Yep.
But it was also good because if you need to get cozy at Macaluso's, you were a little too hey, you could just stay right there.
Yep. You don't need to move.
There was one night, of course, we were hitting the one hitter and things got a little out of hand, and I just decided to call it quits. I'll stay at Macaluso's house. Innocently, we put on a CD. It's Dumb and Dumber.
Jeez.
We're yucking it up the whole time. We fell asleep halfway through or whatever.
But it was fun while it was on, or while you were awake.
Yeah, so that's cool. But then I woke up at one point, and the Dumb and Dumber VHS or CD or whatever it was on was back at the home screen, and it kept replaying the same tune over and over and over and over again. And did me and Macaluso get up, either of us, all night to turn it off?
No.
Nope. We just sat there and listened to the same theme song for hours.
Ugh. Dude. But you know what? That's how you know that it's a good night, though, I feel like. Like, it's a good night when, like, you wake up and you just keep hearing, like, the same thing over and over again, like from a TV show or something. Like, I remember, I don't remember what the theme song was or what the song was, but I remember that happened to me where me and a couple friends were watching Dude, Where's My Car? Have you ever seen that movie? It's really weird. But
like the definition of a stoner comedy.
Literally. And but I watched that, and like, again, we probably only got through like a half, 3/4 of it. But I just remember being asleep and like waking up at like 3-4 a.m. and it's just like the menu screen just like doing the same loop over and over and over again. Isn't it kind of crazy to think like you don't necessarily even have menu screens like that anymore?
Dude, and it's so funny. I even tried to look up. I tried to like look up the menu screen for Dumb and Dumber. Just couldn't find it. Like,
when, just recently?
Yeah, like to send to Macaluso to give him PTSD.
Do you think he'd remember that?
We just talked about it the other day, which made me want to look it up.
You see, I honestly thought you were going to bring up how obsessed you and me were with the Mockingbird song. Wasn't that from Dumb and Dumber?
Dude, it was
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bird.
Bird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you like that game? Or
Yeah.
that's
Dude,
that movie?
I just, again, I've watched Dumb and Dumber so many times. There's most of the movie I could quote easily. Like, and it's just too good. It was too good. Jim Carrey at his peak was too good.
Jim Carrey at his peak was very good. I also just got the name of that game that I was telling you about. It's called Rascal. The game is called
Nice.
Rascal. Anyway, yeah, you're just this kid with a backwards hat, purple shirt, and you just shoot bubbles at monsters. Got all horrible reviews, but I loved it as a kid just to wrap that little up. But dude, Dumb and Dumber is such a funny movie. And like you were saying, Jim Carrey, man, he really was like the face of comedy, I feel like, for a while. A specific comedy. You know, like that really stupid, over the top.
You can only save one of these men's life.
Oh God.
One. Jim Carrey or Adam Sandler.
Dude, even though oh man. I don't know. You know what?
Hold
For
on,
me personally,
can I like list their movies or something like that? I feel like we need to respect them both.
okay. All right. Let's respect them because I do have an answer, but this is for myself. Both great comedy guys. You know, it's funny actually. I just watched an interview with Adam Sandler on the Jimmy Kimmel show, and it's so funny how he dresses, man. Like he is always cozy, and Jimmy Kimmel was making fun of him because apparently like they went to a party together the night before.
Yeah.
And his wife was like, just because Adam's gonna dress casual doesn't mean you can. And it's just funny because I feel like Adam Sandler's that guy to just show up in like baggy pants and like just chilling.
I'm gonna run off Jim Carrey's run of movies. I'm not gonna do every single one, obviously, just the important ones. From 1994 to 2005, he made Ace Ventura 1 and 2,
Jeez.
Dumb and Dumber, The Mask. He was the Riddler in Batman Forever, Liar Liar, The Truman Show, Me, Myself, and Irene. He was in How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Bruce Almighty, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Fun with Dick and Jane. And I'm going to go to 2008, Yes Man.
Wow.
So, that's nuts.
That's strong. I'm excited to hear Adam Sandler's actually because he also had a tear in the early 2000s of movies.
He did, and I have him up right now. Getting there right now. Let me go back to like his beginnings.
Yeah, dude,
so,
I want to know the beginnings.
Wow, it's tough, man. Because I'm gonna start with Saturday Night Live. In 1990 he started Saturday Night Live. Absolutely insane. If you ever get the chance to go watch like a compilation, he is nuts on Saturday Night Live. Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, The Wedding Singer, The Waterboy, Big Daddy, Deuce Bigelow, Little Nicky. That movie kind of sucked. Mr. Deeds, 8 Crazy Nights. That movie's awesome.
Yep.
Anger Management.
That's a good one.
That movie's fucking awesome. The Longest Yard, 50 First Dates.
Yes.
Click, underrated as fuck. I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry. Don't mess with the Zohan. I'll throw, and as I threw in one for Jim Carrey, I'll throw one in for Adam Sandler too. Grown Ups.
Yeah. You know, and I think Adam Sandler is going to be my personal answer for the one I would save. And it's truly just based off of the fact of I feel like more of his movies when I was younger. Like he was more popular in like my family per se. Like I felt like I've watched a lot of Adam Sandler movies when I was younger and I always loved them. So, and it's nothing against Jim Carrey. I love a lot of his movies too, but if I had to save one, I think I'd save Adam Sandler.
Can let me ask you this. Is ending myself to save them both? Is that not an option?
It's your game. You made the rules. No, you got to pick one.
Oh man,
it's tough.
I kind of agree with you, but like for the sake of the show, I'm gonna go Jim Carrey.
Wow. I mean, either one you pick, I mean, you're gonna be laughing. You know, like you're gonna have some 100%. Good times.
I like how both career trajectory wise, like went from very funny men to like kind of doing weird things in the mid 2000s where like studios were just throwing money at them and they were just kind of doing things. Not saying they said yes to everything, but like, well, Adam Sandler definitely in from like 2010 to like 2017 made just dog shit.
Just anything.
Yeah, literally. But still, like, I like how well Jim Carrey. We've seen it even in his prime. I think that is why I would give the nod to Jim Carrey, because in the middle of his career he made Truman Show, and that is a like world-breakingly good. Everyone fucking loves that. Find someone who says something negative about that movie.
That's a good point. That is true.
Uncut Gems, real quick, the last thing I'm going to say, sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
Uncut Gems is one of my favorite movies in like the last couple of years for sure. That's an absolutely sensational movie.
I haven't seen that. I have not seen that movie.
Go watch it. You need to watch it for real.
Yeah, no, I've heard it's good, but the only thing I was going to say, two things about Adam Sandler. One, the one thing that I will give him credit on is I do enjoy Adam Sandler because he always has the same cast of characters in his movies, which can become repetitive and dumb, but like it's kind of fun, like seeing like, oh, there's Chris Rock or I forget David something is always in his movies too. I can't think of his name, but he always comes with like there's 3 or 4 characters who
David
always
Spade.
show. Spade, that's what it is.
The cast of characters is Rob Schneider, Chris Rock, David Spade, Kevin James.
Yeah, that whole group, and like again, kind of like Impractical Jokers. Like it sounds ridiculous, but they're professionals. Like they know like what they're doing. Like you might not always like their humor, but they know what they're doing. And the only other thing I was going to say about Adam Sandler is it's interesting how even like actors can have the same kind of careers as like sports players. Like you think about like players who are fantastic in their prime, and then their later years they kind of suck, but people don't really talk about that. Like let's like think about like Shaq or someone who is like obviously amazing, and then his last couple of years he still played, but he just wasn't as good. I feel like that's like Adam Sandler's career. Like he hit his prime, he killed it, destroyed. Now it's like the after years where like you think of movies like Jack and Jill and stuff like that. You're like, we're just gonna kind of pretend like those didn't happen in Adam Sandler's run time.
I think Adam Sandler's got like a Raul Ibanez like career where like he started off hot, then cooled off in the middle, and now he's coming back real hot. I think Uncut Gems is really good, and apparently he has a film coming out soon that's supposed to be really good as well. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see. I really think I think he's being more selective with his time as age is coming to him.
Yeah, I think there was like a mass, just making of those types of movies, like those just slapstick, like stupid, around like the 2010s area. Like just those like real stupid movies that like you necessarily maybe want to go to this theater for, but like you'll like rent it or like just see it like on DVD. And I feel like you just got a little caught up in that.
Some stinkers, man.
Some stinkers. Yeah.
Blended, The Cobbler, The Ridiculous Six, The Do-Over. Like these, I've never seen these movies, but they cannot be good movies.
No, there's no way.
But again, I cannot recommend Uncut Gems more. Please go take your time and watch it. Hustle seems to be the movie that is coming out. Yep, that's it.
With Adam Sandler?
Yeah, dude, you haven't seen any buzz about this, dude? Fucking like Tobias Harris is in it and shit, man.
Oh my gosh! Yes. A washed-up
basketball scout discovers a phenomenal street ball player while playing in Spain and sees the prospect as his opportunity to get back into the NBA. Adam Sandler, Robert Duvall, Ben Foster, Queen Latifah's in it.
Really?
It's gonna be good, man. It's gonna be really good.
Dude, that actually gets me really excited. I totally forgot about that because I did see a Twitter post about that a really long time ago.
Yeah, that's going to be a sensational movie. I can feel it.
So while we're on the topic of Adam Sandler, I actually do have a what, dude? Dude, if you're not watching on the YouTube, please go to whatever time this is currently. And just look at Tabor's face when I brought that all together. Share back. Fingers going. But,
what, dude? Wait.
It's funny. Here's an interesting fact about Adam Sandler. We're just talking about some of his greatest movies, all that kind of stuff. You know what we forget about Adam Sandler though is he also has been in animated movies. He does do voice work for some animated movies. Do you want to take a guess what Adam Sandler's highest grossing movie is?
I'm gonna, only because we talked about it earlier, I'm gonna guess 8 Crazy Nights.
Nope. That's a great guess though, because I was just saying about the animated one. His highest grossing movie is surprising to me, and it's Hotel Transylvania 2, where he voices the Dracula, the main guy in that. Isn't that kind of crazy though?
Kids, man.
Isn't that crazy to think though? Like, I mean, he had those bangers like 51st States, Click. I thought that movie was huge when it came out. Personally, I think I agree with you now. I think it's definitely a little underrated, but it's also been out. What, that came out 2009 or something like that?
I think
long time ago.
another thing is though that the scale of it's different, whereas money is now more inflated now versus earlier.
This is true.
But still, it's nuts.
But yeah, he let's see, Hotel Transylvania 2, the movie earned $473.2 million in theaters worldwide and $169.7 million in America alone. Both figures are records for the actor.
I wonder how much. That's how much he got.
No, that's how much the movie made.
Oh,
But he was
I
a
see.
part of it, so that was the most profit, right? But yeah, so you know, a lot of Adam Sandler talk. I feel like this pod needs to be talked. Called.
The title of this is Carrey versus Sandler.
Yeah, I love it. I love the direction this went down. With some comedians, we talked a little horror in the beginning, went to a little Sopranos, went to a little, you know, mobster scene, and then ended it off with some comedy at the end. I love that. And some action. We talked a little superheroes, brought up Venom, Marvel, stuff like that. So we kind of hit a lot of topics right there.
This is like a Jordan flu game for me. I'm under the weather, but I'm doing this.
Yeah, dude, you're bringing the heat. I love it. It's a great time. You know, we have done back-to-back later episodes, definitely not morning episodes, and I've had a great time both times. You know, I'm all jacked up on my hot coffee on this rainy day, enjoying a good time with my good pal Ja.
That was very well said. We're gonna end it right there.
Just gonna end it right there. And thanks for listening. Check us out on TikTok, Ja and Fa Pod. Give us a follow. Give us some comments, because you know the videos I put up, I try to like make them in a question base. Like for example, little sneak peek, we're gonna be dropping the ping pong story time on the TikTok, and you know, let us know if you think Ja did the right thing. Should he have let the 16-year-old girl win? It was her birthday. Or was he right for just dominating and winning the entire tourney? Let us know.
Every story needs a villain. That's all I can say.
Hey, reminds me of that movie with the pen, Frindle. If anyone remembers that movie back in middle school.
We're out. Any Frindle mention, we're out. I walk. Peace.
Later.